Hello and welcome to Life is Feudal, a forest village. Since the last video, it's been a few things been going on. Most of the time it's just a case of we're waiting for all these things to get built, things to get repaired and so on. And I've been letting it run for a bit of a while because it's a case it's going to take quite a while to gather resources. I mean, one of the key things we're after, for instance, is stone and logs, for instance. So I've been putting in orders to get some logs chopped down around here. But yeah, I might end up paying for this because I got all these built, but I still haven't gotten around to putting a well in. I really should have put a well in. So I mean, so far we've already had this building set on fire, and then it got repaired. Well, sorry, it was this one here. Yeah, this one set on fire. Then that one got repaired. There's a few people have grown up and joined the workforce. So just seeing how these are going. I mean, they seem to have put that fire out, so they're kind of getting there. Wow, how many? Are we getting fires spread or something? Yeah, that's the trouble. If you don't put the fire out, the fire spreads. And there's no well nearby, so I really should have gotten a well pretty up close there. The game likes to punish you, I think. I've added in somebody into here and to do the fishing, so I've got 2 extra people on fishing because I was having a look at the food store. We're at about 875 when we started in the spring. We're into the summer now. The problem that I've got is pretty much things like, you know, the lack of wood, lack of stone. So we've got the lumberjack down here is pretty much going through a lot to produce the firewood here. But there's quite a lot of logs now starting to go into these buildings, but looks like we'll probably have to use up. Oh, see, if the trouble is they're not able to get the water up in time to stop the fire. It's kind of frustrating because you're getting fires start when you get lightning strikes. Ooh, blimey, we're almost out of water as well. And what puzzles me is you've got all this heavy rain coming down, and yet you still get things setting on fire, and you think surely like the rain would have put it out in the first place, but no, that's too obvious. So what I'm going to do, I mean, basically this is going to take quite a while anyway. There's not a great deal going on, but the flax coming along. Now we've got a lot of flax. Flax. I don't know what I call it, flax. We've got a lot of flax, and oh yeah, I think these are going to end up getting burned down. There's not any water around nearby, so they're not able to get the water up quick enough. Yeah, that's kind of come back to bite me. But there's a lot of flax getting created over the year, and obviously the weaver here is not really snowed up. Well, she's snowed under. She can only make so many at a time, and there's way more flax than we really need. So I think what I'm going to do is when we get into the next year, I'm going to pause this one and I'm going to switch it over to potatoes. I think that's going to be the strategy because we need a lot more food. We're up to, wow, we're getting to late summer and we're down to 800, so we haven't even getting enough food to replace, you know, what they've gone through even in this season, this year I should say. So I think what's going to happen, basically these things are going to end up getting burnt down. They just can't keep up. Basically there's not enough water in the wells, or at least in that one anyway. By the time they get the water all the way back up to here, another building's caught fire anyway, so it's like, man, it's like never ending. So I'm going to have to basically get an order in here, and I'm going to have to get them to build a well, because otherwise this is never going to get resolved. So I'm going to put that I think I'll put that there because it's on the side of the road at least. We'll put in a priority if I can for that. Now the problem is this is going to need stone, and I don't know if I've got enough stone around. At some point I need to build a mine. See, there's enough. Yeah, it's about 61 there. So the problem is, because they're not getting up here in time and getting the fires put out, it's just spreading. And it's just going to go on backwards and forwards, unfortunately. Eventually these things will burn down, I'll have to replace them, but I'll keep my fingers and toes crossed, you never know. But I'm just going to pause the video because there's not much else going on, because we need to gather a lot of resources basically to start make any further progress. All I've done is, I've added in an extra fisherman down here. We haven't gotten much further really, other than I've been putting in orders to chop down the trees, because if I want to put in a mine, let's see, so the mines are here. A mine needs over 510. I think that was the best I could find, so I'm going to put a mine there, but it needs over 510 logs. That's a lot of logs. So what I'm going to do basically is, these are just going to keep running backwards and forwards, and unless they can by some miracle they can put the fires out and stop them spreading in time, they'll probably just burn down. I'll have to rebuild them. But I'm just going to pause the video and I'll bring you back shortly. Well, most of these buildings actually managed to survive, interestingly enough. This one's it's just been written off, so it's getting to the point where there's actually an order went straight in. I didn't do that myself, but it's put the order in to deconstruct this, so I'm going to have to rebuild a forester. The only trouble is everyone's been so busy trying to put these fires out that not hardly anything else is getting done, so I'm kind of mindful. We're down to like only 492 food, which sounds quite a lot for 15 people, but if you think right at the start of this year we were at about 895, I believe. 875, we were on 875 food in total. So we've lost half our food over the year. We're into 4. So straight up I've put a request in to have 3 people on doing the fishing here. We're into 4, so I've asked this person here to just speed things up basically. I'm kind of concerned that we're going to run out of food now. But what I'll do is next year, see when everybody survives the winter, I'm going to put an order in here. I'm going to swap this over to potatoes. I think that'll be the better strategy. At some point this will get deconstructed. At the moment they're going around building things, they're repairing things I should say. So these have survived. Now we're waiting on stone and hay. So I've got some requests out there to gather stone and to gather hay as well, so hopefully they should start doing that. Then we'll get a well up here. It's just Murphy's Law. The one thing I didn't do was put a well in here at this particular point. So the game came back to like bite me in the butt. It's like, yeah, you didn't put your well in. You should have put a well in. This is going to take quite a while because I need still quite a lot of stone and hay and iron ore down there. Unfortunately, this weaver's she's hit her limit. We've got up to 50 claws now, so we're okay there. We're on about 19 of 50 tools now. He's running out of stone and wood, so he can't really do much. So at the moment, everybody will be just out and about, probably just gathering things. Looks like they're still repairing stuff, because obviously these took a lot of damage because of the fires. But hopefully at some point I'll start going out and start gathering all those things I asked for. My only concern is we're into winter, so relying on one little fishing lodge, so I'm going to have to put some more in. There are actually options. You can set up little fish farms actually, so they're like self-sustaining. I've tried these things before. With those fishing lodges, you can actually deplete the area as far as I'm aware. There's still quite a bit of fish, so you never want to like keep these fully stocked. But I'm quite tempted to put some of these in by the side, because I did once at one time. I built piers, and the idea was I'd have quite a few of these strung along, but it was causing a lot of problems where they couldn't get things built and it just didn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of orders in here. Let them do these by the side of the the coastline. So I'll put one there. Let's see if I can put one one there. So again, it's the resources though. I don't need stone to do these, but food's going to be a major problem now. I mean, that's... I can't really, like, realistically, I can't rely on just like one fishing lodge and like some potatoes. So that the you know, from one field. So I'm gonna swap this over from flax to potatoes, and we'll see how soon we can get these up and running. So I shall be back shortly. Well, we're coming to the end of winter now. They still haven't deconstructed this forester's lodge for some reason. They've been gathering a lot of resources and they've been piling it into places like the barn and the warehouse here, because I had them. They've had orders to gather stone, hay, logs and so on. So it looks like this is now going to get built, this little well. They've got enough resources to build this. We've almost got enough. Just checking this. I think they must be still collecting some hay. So they've almost got enough to do the barn, but I'm really conscious of how little food we've got. I think we might just about scrape through winter. There's one hunter in here. Oh, that's good. So we've at least got the well now. So the one thing I noticed actually, there was the AI on these things isn't that great, because they must have come down here to get water. For instance, like with the Forester's Lodge, I was seeing, even though when the fire had been put out, you would still get like, you know, 3 or 4 of them still turning up and delivering water. So that they weren't like, you know, using a bit of like intelligence there to say, right, we're finished with that one. Oh, right, that one's on fire, I'll take the water over to this one and try and put that out. No, what happened was they just literally went to this building, for instance. They had instructions to basically put the fire out, and even if all the water had been gathered, they still brought water. So they obviously, you know, they must have something in the AI to say, right, if there's a fire, go and get some water for that building. So they'll come down to the well, gather the water and take it to the building. Even if the fire's been put out, if they're still, you know, travelling from the well to the building, they'll still take the water to the building. So I mean, it's not too bad in the sense there's only, out of the 4 buildings, 3 of them are still up. This one, I haven't populated that because I'm really mindful. I mean, Struth, we've only got 15 people, and there's no teenagers, there's no children or anything. So there's no like improvement in terms of like the number of people. I need a lot more people. But what I've done is I've switched this over to potatoes. These are potatoes because we need a lot of food. We're down to 163 food, which is terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the number of hunters as well. I'm not overly keen on the fact that I've got 3 people in here, because that risks depleting the area. But at the moment, until these start bringing crops later in the year, all I've got is the fishing lodge, the hunters, and the gatherer. So that's appalling, quite frankly. I mean, there's still instructions to get these done. They don't need any stone. Now we don't have any ore, so I'm just going to pause that. I'm going to see if anybody's doing anything. So I think these. Right, looks like they don't have anything to do now. So I'm gonna put some orders in because I need logs, or clay is going to be a problem. Where am I going to get clay from? See if we can find any. Right. Yeah, that could be a bit of a problem then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some orders in down here, because there's sometimes, I don't know if that's ore. I can't quite tell what that is. But I really need some clay. I mean, I can't realistically set an order in for a clay mine. I mean, the clay mines need. Or could I? I mean, a clay mine, that's feasible at 340. 3115. The trouble is with these mines. That's got 4674. I think I'm going to put an order in to build a clay mine, because the only drawback and something I'm going to have to bear in mind is that you can actually lose people to mining accidents. plunk that down there. But I'm going to try and put an order in over here, for instance. And I'm just going to ask them to gather everything, basically. Anything you can find in this area. So I'm not finding any in there. So I'm looking for... Because as far as I was aware, you could gather clay. Yeah, it's not showing me any, so it doesn't look as though I can get any. So that's going to be a problem then. I mean, what about a fisherman's lodge then? So if I put a fishing lodge... I mean, there's some fish down there. I mean, this one, how far do you extend out to? You extend out to there, so... I want to try and keep it as close to the area as possible, but... Until I get any clay, I'm kind of stuck. Right, so if I put that maybe there... I might have to terraform some of this, because the problem is then getting that. These are going to have to walk all the way back and deliver resources, so I'm going to probably put in orders to terraform that place. I mean, I've got about 2 spares, three labourers, basically 4. Essentially, got about another 5 people that can help out. Okay, so I'm stuck until I get any clay there. I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to bin these 2. This is not going to work until I get the clay. Right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deconstruct that one, and I'm going to build a fishing lodge over on this side. Because I've got to be realistic here, there's just not enough food. We're really short on food. I can't expand this area into, you know, I can't expand this place and get more people without food. I've got to have an increasing supply of food. One option is through things like fishing. Can we put you up there? Let's put you... It's not ideal. I mean, you can build a little a walkway going out, for instance, and put them on. But I'm in a hurry, to be honest. I shouldn't be, but I am. Let's put you... Well, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to set a priority for this one. Right, so let's see how that goes. See you shortly. Well, we've finally got our fisherman's lodge built now. That took a lot of time, to be honest. There was too many orders out. I'm finding I was in real need of getting hay, for instance. The problem is they only gather about 3 hay at a time. Oh, she's gathering vegetables. They gather about 3 hay. That's as much as they can carry, so it was taking forever. I had quite a few orders trying to get it down here. They've managed to gather quite a bit. So then they started going out and gathering trees, which is, you know, to chop down the trees for the logs. But the problem I've been finding is, even though I had a priority order on here, they were going out and putting the wood into, like here, which is the stone quarry. They were putting wood in to build up a clay mine. The wood's been going in places where I just didn't particularly want it to go, so I started pausing that one. I paused the lumberjack because I'm in pretty much dire straits. I mean, the food's rocketed up because one of the things I did is I increased this to have 2 gatherers, 2 hunters. I've since dropped that now, and I've taken 1 person out of here, and I've put 2 people into here, so we've got now 4 fishermen. We've got 2 hunters and we've got 1 gatherer. Now it's because of the season. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop to 2 fishermen. So those 2 will be fishing there. I'm going to increase the number of gatherers Now, actually I need to reset that back up to 2, don't I? Yeah. Now what I'm also going to do is, while I'm at it, I'm just going to drop that to well, I'm not too bothered about that one. I'm going to increase the number of herbalists here. These are the people who gather the herbs, because we've got we don't have any. Now when we eventually get round to getting this built, this well, there's a school here, small house here. At some point I need to build an actual healing shop. It's kind of like a hospital more than anything, but it's a really big building. But this is where the people can get healed. So for that to happen, realistically you need to be gathering the herbs. So basic case, I want at least somebody to gather herbs so that I'm ready once I've got the resources. But what I've been doing in the meantime, though, I mean, I've just been cancelling a ton of these orders up here because we're running out of logs. Now I'm gonna have to resume this because realistically we're running out of we're down to 128 firewood. So I've kind of resolved the food issue by getting basically just putting a couple of people into here, a couple of people into here. There's these three. Then these have all been basically gathering, you know, from 2 fields. So that's where a lot of the foods actually come from. If you notice, there's just about, what, 2,100. Most of it's come from here. Some of it's come from the meat. Now that'll be because of the gatherers and the farms, I must admit. I'm not 100% sure how many of these, how much do these things gather. So I mean, they've gathered quite a lot if you look at it since I upped it to about 2 people. The only drawback is I'm always just concerned of, like, you know, you basically deplete whatever resources you've got. So yeah, that was kind of like desperate times, so I didn't have much choice. I've also got a forester's lodge getting rebuilt. When I looked at that, I mean, it got burned down, and I was under the impression it had like a little builder sign next to it, and I was under the impression it had automatically been selected for deconstruction and nothing was happening. So I put in an order for deconstruction, and eventually it got actually deconstructed. So that was a bit deceptive, I've noticed. But things have improved because the barn here is completed. The warehouse has been completed. So all the resource gathering's a lot quicker, I've noticed now. Before they were sort of like gathering things, they were bringing them over to here, for instance, or even if they're up here, they would bring them all the way down here. Whereas now they're just gathering them. So it's a lot more efficient because they're bringing them all to this one little top location here. So at least I'm pretty pleased now because I mean we've got a lot more food. We're doing okay for clothes. We've got 54 clothes, so we're doing okay for clothes now because we've got tons and tons of flax. So I can leave these on gathering the potatoes now for a while. I'm quite keen to get stone though, so I'm going to have to put in some orders for stone because these things they take up. We're almost there, but I don't want to like be taking, you know, when we get to the winter, I don't want to be taking people out of these farms, for instance, and putting them into quarries, because the trouble is if somebody dies in the quarry and I've got nobody to cover these farms, I'm gonna have some serious problems with food. So I can only kind of like spare what I can. Now this dude here, he needs some logs, so I'm going to have to put in more orders for logs by the looks of it, because the forest is going to take a while. The forester needs some stone, so straight up our main problem at the moment is stone, so I need to get an order in to get stone. They're going to have to go out and about, so that's about as far as I'll go. If I put too many orders in, they'll just go on forever and ever. So I've got to be selective in what I want them to go and gather. It does take them a while, and those that are idle are not doing anything. So for instance these 3 here, they've got nothing else to do, so they'll go off and help. I'm not so sure about the farmers though. I think the farmers tend to just stick around and do nothing all year. I'll check when we get to the winter though. But for now we're just going to gather the stone. Hopefully we'll get that back up and running. We only need about another 3 logs, so I'm just going to put a quick order to get some logs chopped down, and hopefully we'll get that up. Then they'll start focusing on, well, they would have focused on that. Now I'm going to have to I've put this house on pause because I can't risk until I'm pretty sure that I've got enough food. I can't risk like a population explosion basically. You'll suddenly get about 6 people in here. I could get rid of this, I must admit. So I think I might resume this now. Now that I think about it, because then it'll only be about another 3 people. 3 of them will go into here. I'll have 3 spare in capacity. Yeah, they're full. That's being upgraded to give me 6, and they're short on iron ore. So I'm gonna have to put an order in. I need some iron ore, and I think it needs. I think it needs quite a bit. It needs about 60. So I'm gonna have to wait for things like the stone and the wood, realistically, to get all gathered. But no, I think we've just kind of like more or less salvaged that one. I mean, a lot of the fires. I mean, off camera I was getting this building set on fire a couple of times. This place set on fire a couple of times. But at least I've got the water to keep them going. I've put a road in to speed things up to there. At some point they'll probably get this built, but they need more logs. But so far so good. I think it looks like they're going to start building this now. So I'm just going to basically just pause this, because I mean all they're going to do now is I'm just going to leave them to gather resources. So I'll bring you back shortly. Well, I'm really relieved now. We're up to just over 3,000 food, so it's about 3 times what we had at the start of like year 3, I think it was. We really struggled through that year getting food, because I was reliant on just a large, some. I was waiting for these 2 fields to produce some potatoes. We had one person in the gatherer's hut, one person in the hunter's lodge over here, but I just wasn't getting enough food. I mean, even though there's like only 15 people and 875 food is what I started with, and it just wasn't enough. So I've tweaked things a bit, and I think that's pretty much salvaged it now. We've now got 2 fishermen's lodges, 2 fields, and I've got 2 people in each of these, 2 people in these as well. So I mean, they've done quite well, I'd say. I mean, we've got almost 1,000 in vegetables, presumably that have come from these 2 fields. Fish, 138 fish that we've been getting so far. Doing a lot better up here. We've got almost about 1,500 berries, fruit and vegetables, well over 300 meat. So we're doing a lot better. I mean, the trees came back pretty quick. They're pretty much essential for the hunters, because you want livestock. You want the wild animals in here for them to hunt, and they tend to stay away from areas that are being deforested. So I want all this to grow back. So it's just a case of I'm going to have to wait for the builder to rebuild this place. He's busy building a stone mine for me, a stone quarry here for me. But yeah, I'm really relieved we managed to get that, because I had a lot of time I think got lost having to put those fires out, and I think it was just fortunate that eventually one building burned out, and then that way it kind of stopped the fire spreading. But now that I've got all these herbs here that I've gathered, I don't see much point in gathering any more, at least not for now, because that's for healing people. So I'm just going to leave that on pause. So the herbalists, they're out gathering some resources. I've got an order in to gather iron ore at the moment. Seems to have been a bit of a change, because I'm pretty sure the last time I played the game, the farmers used to just sit around and do nothing during the winter. So the plan is, or at least the plan normally would have been to put them into, say, the fishermen's lodges. But what I've found is they've actually gone out. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, Wade's one of the farmers, and he's out actually mining resources for me. So he's off collecting iron ore. So that's a lot better. It's much more efficient during the winter time. So at the moment, what I'm doing is, the plan is to keep. I'm just going to keep everybody in their own specific profession. If I don't need, somebody in that gathering a certain resource or building something, I'll either set a limit or I'll just put them on pause. So for this, I think what I'm going to do then is I'm going to set that to 500, and then I'll take that off pause. So basically, it's out of season anyway, but they're not going to do anything until till that limit falls back down. So there'll always be that gives me an extra labour, and labourers are something I definitely do need. So in terms of where we're going next, then, well, I definitely need more, more people. I need a much bigger population than this. We're getting by, I'd say. I mean, we're not at the stage where we can produce enough food to keep the population going, but we need to produce more. I need education. I need to, make these people happier. We need better tools, better clothes, and so on. So the focus for now is to get this building here built. So I've got them out, gathering iron ore, for instance, and I should then be able to bring this little small house in. So upgrading this one will get me an extra 3 people, because straight away I'll just destroy that shack. So we should then get 3 more babies born, and then they'll slowly grow up, and then I'll bring in another house. So that gives me about 9, I'd say, roughly. I'll have to keep an eye on it, pause it as soon as it's finished, so that I can upgrade it to give me 6 people. But that would give me an extra 9 people in total, and that's pretty much going to be the focus for now, is just increasing the population. But I'll have to keep a good eye on the resources, particularly the food and the logs, because at the moment there's nobody chopping logs down, which means I'm going to have to keep micromanaging it and setting orders to chop the wood down. But I just want to stay away from this little area here. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty pleased. I mean, we managed to salvage that. Wasn't too difficult. It was just kind of frustrating because of the fires more than anything. But I think we're in a much better place now. I'm really pleased with the amount of food we've got, if nothing else. But that's it basically for this video. I do hope you've enjoyed watching it. Then if so, then do please leave a like. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more, then do please subscribe. But just remember to click the little bell icon, and then that way you'll get notifications for when new content comes out. And if you've got any comments, suggestions, any feedback, in terms of, better strategies on this, and yeah, do please post those in the comments section below. But until the next video, thanks very much for watching. Bye.